on Instagram though. And now I am. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is Friday Eve, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. Welcome to Thought for Thursday. It is almost the end of the week, and I'm happy, as I always am at this time of the week. I'll allow just a little more time for people to jump on in here. I am very happy to say that we are continuing our series this evening on career goals, and we've got another hot topic to talk about that's coming up here soon. So welcome, 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 everybody. And I want to let you know, number one, I've been doing this series because I feel that it's important for us to be able to get some things here still pretty early in the year that's going to help us to advance. Whether that be, in our careers, advance in life, advance in, the goals and the dreams that we're inspiring to accomplish. So I wanted to do a few things. We talked about, first of all, discovering what your strengths are, finding out what they are, finding out what your weaknesses are too, but being able to capitalize on those strengths. That was the first series that we did back last month. So, the end of last month and into this month, we're talking about career goals, things that you want to consider, things that you need to consider as being valuable points that you want to have or valuable elements that you want to see in your career. So that's what this series is all about. I have some exciting news about where all of this is kind of leading. I've been doing career coaching for quite some time now. Many of you know I have a number of years in HR, a number of years in training, and I definitely have a love for helping other people in identifying their career, and not just any career, but in identifying the career that you feel is going to be one of purpose, one in which you can thrive, one in which you are working in an area that has real value to you. So I'm thrilled that I'm able to do this, this series that we're talking about. But also, I have some extra things that are coming down the pike in a few weeks that I'm also very, very excited about. Things that are going to even take what I have here and take it further. Because, this is just the top of the barrel here. I'm just giving you some things to think about. But in order to really make some changes in your career, some changes in where you want to go, to reach for those goals that you're truly desiring to hit, you've got to put some work into it. This is definitely an introduction to what it is that you need to do. But there are some more specific things that you need to do as well. But I want you to be able to get this at least as the precursor before we go forward. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're going to hop right on into this. So we've talked about a couple of different things already in the career. Last week we talked about how you can look at your hobby and take aspects of that, bring your hobby into your job, into your career, bring some of the assets that you have or that are a part of, what you do in love into your career. Some of you also may want to turn your hobby into your career. We talked about that too. Well, this week we're going to talk about how it is that you can make a pretty tough decision. I've been talking at least about the importance of doing a job, having a career, whatever that is, whether that's you working for yourself, working for someone else, whatever that is, making sure that that has some meaning to you, because it's only when you're working in a position, when you're doing something that you truly enjoy and has value to you, do you feel as though you are really working somewhere where you can thrive. You're doing something that will allow you to thrive and really live life to your absolute best. So there comes a time when you may have to make a decision. For example, if you really want to do career advancement, or do you really want to stick with that job you love? Career advancement in many instances could mean, number one, just what it says, going up that ladder. Number two, it very well could mean additional income. It could mean, of course, more responsibility. It could mean a number of things. But what you also have to take into account is that career advancement doesn't always mean that you're moving in a direction that you really like. And that's where we struggle. And traditionally, it has been a struggle for women who, I mean, let's just face it, we're still expected to kind of make that work life balance and that family work balance, although we're out there and doing a lot more in the job field or in the career area. Bottom line is, it frequently falls on us still to make sure that family is taken care of. And so that balance gets really tricky in trying to determine, well, do I want to advance or do I want to stay where I am? I know that balance hit me some years back when I was in corporate America, really trying to determine, do I really want to stick with this? I was given an opportunity to advance, of course, which was going to include some management responsibilities, also a longer commute. The money was going to be great. At the time, my family was still really young, and I was trying to figure out, well, which direction did I really want to go? And the decision I made was the best decision for my family, and it worked out well. Well, those are the kinds of things I'm talking about. You may have to decide on, when you're trying to figure out, do I really want to go with the career advancement, or do I really want to go with a job that I love? Do I want to stick with something that has purpose and meaning to me? Because that's what I think about when I think of a job that I love. So, what are some things that you need to consider when making this decision? It's probably one of the biggest decisions you're going to have to make in life. It may be, people may look at you strange, for example, when you tell them what it is that you have an opportunity to do, and because it's an enviable job in many instances, but enviable to many, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely something that is your prize job. It's a good opportunity, perhaps. One part of you thinks about the advancement and the recognition, and the other part thinks about, well, how is this going to work with my peace of mind? So now that you're kind of at this crossroads, you really need to come to a decision that's going to be best for you, that's going to take a look at what you value and what is important to you. So in order to do this, things that you may want to think of, first of all, you might want to consider additional responsibilities. All right. So, what is this going to mean? Taking on that additional responsibility can come with challenges. I was already talking about that already, how back in corporate America, I would have a longer commute and more responsibility with managing staff. The career advancement opportunity, and that expectation may be good for you, maybe for you to put even more effort into your work. It may require all of that. And are you willing to do that? Is that something that you really want to do, as a trade-off for that job that, the salary may not be where you want it, but it is something that you enjoy doing, something that really gives you some purpose, something that you really feel you can advance in just simply because you enjoy it. The question isn't really whether you're shying away from work or not. It's really the mere fact that the opportunity is open, for you to speak out or for you to speak in a different arena. What does it speak to your inner self, though? How is it making you feel when you think of going to another position in which you really can advance, but you may not necessarily love that position like you do where you are now? Um, do you have the training and the experience that's needed to take on that advanced position? Because if you don't, that means you're going to have to even spend even more time, um, away, or more time focused in on that new position that is giving you an opportunity to advance. So that's something to consider as well. Advancement may mean not just more work as far as responsibilities, but it may require some training. That's something to think about as well. So, what else do you need to think about when you're trying to decide, do I want to go for a career advancement versus sticking with this job that I really, really love? You need to figure out a lot of what I've already said already is, what kind of balance is this going to bring to you? Is this going to create the work life balance that you really, really want? People think about that, of course, when they endeavor to go into entrepreneurship. Those early years of entrepreneurship are definitely your hardest because you're establishing your platform, you're establishing so many things. Extra hours go into that. But then frequently people don't mind that so much, or they still find a way to find that balance because they're working, hopefully, if they're getting into entrepreneurship, they're working in something that they really, really love and that they feel they really have a purpose and a calling to do, is the way I see a lot of what I do. So it really does give them some sense of worth, and they feel as though that they can really thrive in the position. So is the new position going to create balance? For some of us, we may even have a job that we love right now where we don't have the balance that we need. That's a whole other discussion. That's something also that we need to think about, whether we go to the new place or not, right? We have to create some balance. But does it help to create that? All right. Um, do you have to spend more time on the weekends in this new position that's going to bring you advancement? Are you going to have to, cut out from the evening activities that you've committed to, perhaps in the community, perhaps with your children, perhaps with your spouse? What is it that you have to give up if you're going to take this advancement? Is it worth it? Or if you stay with the place that you love, is it really better? Is the balance maybe more achievable there? Or if it's a situation where you really do know that the advanced job is something that is going to perhaps be better just for the interim. Perhaps it's something that you can take temporarily or kind of as a stepping stone for a little while. These are all things that you have to consider when you're trying to determine which direction do you really want to go. Um, does the compensation, all right, that's another thing. If you're going to take that advanced job or that job that's going to allow you to move further up, is that compensation going to help you to create balance? Perhaps it'll help you to take on some of the responsibilities that you have ordinarily. Perhaps you may be able to pay someone else to do some of that. Do you really want to pay someone else to take on some of those responsibilities that you have, particularly if you feel like these are responsibilities that you really do need to take care of and they're near and dear to your heart? So, something else to think about. What does the job facilitate? Does it facilitate the balance that you really need to have, that you should be focused on in any job that you do, whether it's one you love or, one that you may not be so inclined to really be thrilled about, but it's offering all the things that you need as far as compensation goes and advancement and all of that. But is it giving you that balance that you need? Third thing, consider your commitment. This job, again, is one in which you're advancing, but you're leaving something that you really love and feel you're passionate about and is a part of who you are. All right. So, what is your commitment going to be when you move to this advanced position, which is offering you an opportunity to move up the ladder, but it's not necessarily in an area that you really feel passionate about? What is your commitment going to look like to that? It's very hard to be committed to something in which you feel really doesn't connect with your values or connect with a sense of self worth for you. It's hard to make that commitment. you're working harder, chances are, when you take on this advanced position, and then you're working harder in an area that you're really not committed to. All things that you need to weigh when you're thinking about, well, what should I do in this situation? I know many of us think about, again, the prestige that it may bring, the extra compensation that it may bring, all of the extras that it may bring. But what I always say to anyone that I coach, and what I always say on my social media platforms, you want a life in which you can thrive. A life in which you can thrive. Statistics have shown, just overall, people frequently point back to the fact that it has to coincide with purpose in order for you to feel a real connection to it and feel as though it's something that you can actually thrive with. It meets with your values. So it's important to consider all of those things, particularly years down the road. It can give you again some short-term goals. Long term, what's it going to look like for you? What's that going to feel like years from now? What are you going to think when you look back at your career and say, should I have gone for that advancement, or where would I have been if I stuck with the thing that I really felt had some purpose for me? So all things that are really, really very important. And the fourth thing here that you need to do when you're trying to figure out which direction you're going to go, sit down, write out those expectations. Write them out. It's important to connect with what you expect from your job. Write what you expect from your job that you currently have, or what you have been getting from the job that you currently have. Write what you expect and what you can look forward to with that other job that is offering you an opportunity to advance. Write down basically your pros and your cons for both, and then consider them. And the one thing that I always stress, and we've already hinted on this, is that balance, making sure that whatever you choose is going to be healthy for you physically, mentally, that it's going to be healthy for your family, that is going to have all of the elements that you need to make yourself um, be in a good position. All right. So really that's it. I'm so glad you think this is great food for thought, because that's just what I want you to do. I want you guys to think about this as you're making those decisions. And I know it's not easy, particularly in this environment. Everything, inflation is high. We think about the cost of, we talk about the chicken and the egg. We think about the cost of chicken now, the cost of eggs, the cost of living, the cost of renting, how the interest rate is fluctuating. Everything now really dictates more money or a higher level of investment. So that opportunity to advance frequently looks really appealing to us. It really does, particularly when we're feeling that crush, when we're feeling that weight of trying to take care of day to day activities. And we see that the income level is here and the need for the money is here. It gets really difficult when we look at that job that looks like it's going to bring us an opportunity. It's going to look good for us, and it's going to, bring us that extra compensation. But, what are some of those trade offs? Don't look so great for us, but we want to go ahead and take it because we need things. There are things in life that we just need. I just want you to be very conscious of why you're choosing what you do, and what the payoffs are going to be on both sides, and what the costs are going to be on both sides. All right. So that's it. Some food for thought when you're trying to decide between career advancement versus that job that you love. Make sure that you keep yourself in mind as far as how your health is, and making sure that you achieve that balance. More than anything, You have to make sure that you get balance in your life so that you can be the best you and just be able to even do that advanced job or continue to do the one that you love, whichever that you select. All right. That's it for tonight, guys. 15 minutes thought for Thursday made you think about your career a bit. Next week is our last week on career goals. That is, unless I think of something else about the career that I really want you to know. But we're going to be week 4 on career goals. And I'll also let you in on the secret that I've been hinting about all week. And I'll let a little out of the bag. It's an opportunity to even better define your career. So I'll just leave it at that. It's something that you're going to like, something that you're going to find definitely worth your while. All right. But for tonight, go out, go out, have the best evening, have the best day tomorrow, have a wonderful weekend in which you rest, rejuvenate, recuperate, all those R words. Make it your absolute best. Know that you are awesome just the way that you are. Be happy with your uniqueness, that uniqueness that gives you the purpose that you have. That thing that only you can do, only your thumbprint can make an impression on. Go out and touch some things, make it happen, make it work. Be glad that you are who you are. Thrive in confidence, knowing that you can be all that you want to be, and know that God has created you for a very specific purpose, and that your goal needs to be to focus on that purpose in all that you do and in all that you desire to be. All right. That's it. Thanks for listening. Share and like. Be sure to go back if you're just popping in right here. Go back and watch the whole thing. It's going to be up. All right. You guys have a good evening. Bye-bye.